So in Season 2 of Diablo 4, it seems that there is a new boss that can randomly spawn and attack you, similar to the Butcher, and I have a theory that this is not the only one. So while running a nightmare dungeon in World Tier 3, I came across a new random boss called Indal of the Ancients, and I came across him in basically the same way you would encounter the Butcher. He just randomly shows up and then you have a boss fight on your hands. Now this one was a little bit different because this boss was quite a bit weaker than the Butcher in both health and damage, and you were actually able to stagger this boss. But if I was in, say, World Tier 4 and I was already fighting a bunch of other enemies, this boss could still give you some problems. Now this boss was a barbarian, and after I killed it, it gave me a bunch of the new currencies for Season 2. So it seems like this was a boss version of the new Seekers. And on top of all the new Season 2 currency I got from this boss, I did also get 2 legendary drops. So this boss does seem to be following the other bosses, that it has at least one guaranteed legendary drop. And I do actually have a theory that there is going to be more of these random bosses within Season 2. Because one of the new enemy additions to Season 2 are called Seekers, and these are basically all the playable classes turned into vampires. So you could go against a Seeker Barbarian, Sorcerer, Druid, Necromancer, or Rogue. And they use a bunch of the different abilities that are available to these playable classes. And it seems like with coming up against Indal, that he is a boss version of a Seeker. He was using barbarian abilities. He dropped the new resources for the season. So my overarching theory is that there is also going to be another named boss for all of the different classes, because that would just make complete sense that if there's a new random barbarian boss, there's going to be a new random boss for all of the different classes, meaning that there would be 5 different named bosses that you could randomly come across, just like you can randomly come across the Butcher. So when you're running around doing your nightmare dungeons, there's going to be a bunch of new random bosses you can come across. They're going to give you some good loot and give you a bunch of the new currency. And this was actually a very pleasant surprise, because the prospect of having like a random strong boss that can just show up and start attacking you at any point during a dungeon is actually really cool. I think most people like that the Butcher is in the game and you can randomly come across him. And even though this barbarian boss was a bit easier, I still think this concept is really cool, and I hope they continue to add things like this into Diablo 4. I think having these kind of random events, random bosses, that type of thing can really add some excitement into your dungeon runs. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.